Hey, it's been a while since we've talked strictly real estate and not Airbnb, but why not do it with one of the best in the business, one of the best wholesalers out there, Brent Daniels. He is here to talk to us about why talking to people is so dang important right here on the Fearless Investor Podcast. Hey guys, welcome into the Fearless Investor Podcast. You're listening to me, Kyle Stanley. And yeah, it's been a while since we've just had a strictly real estate investor guest on the show, mainly because most of you have been asking, hey, how do I learn more about Airbnb? And I'm going to give you that opportunity. As always, just go over to fearlesskyle.com/consultation, and you can book a call with me anytime to pick my brain about real estate investing, especially on the Airbnb side, for 15 minutes. Absolutely free, no strings attached. Of course, if you want to, you're going to learn about my course, which you can absolutely check out. It's absolutely free to go check out on my website, fearlesskyle.com. You just go to the Airbnb tab and you can see the Kickstart course right there. But I mean, what better way to just get on the right path than to be able to steal 15 minutes of my time. So if you'd like to do that, make sure you go do that, fearlesskyle.com/consultation. But today, Brent Daniels, this is one of the biggest names in real estate investing, especially on the wholesaling side. He has his podcast on Wholesaling Inc. And if you look up his YouTube channel, I mean, just so much value right there. And really, all he preaches is just talking to people. Get out there and talk to homeowners. But we really dive into some applicable steps today and really how just this mindset of talking to people and screaming from a mountaintop what you can do to add value to other people can take you so far in real estate investing. So let's get to it right now with Brent Daniels. Hey, everyone. Welcome into the Fearless Investor Podcast. To say that today is a treat is a understatement because we have, I was just telling Brent, the last of the Wholesaling Inc. crew on the show. And man, save the least energy for the last, right, Brent?
That's it. Yeah, we are just it's going to be really slow today. It's not going to have a lot of energy. It's going to be kind of soft.
Super
so
boring.
If you're ready for just soft conversation. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's an honor, Kyle. You've done over 200 of these podcasts. Absolutely phenomenal. You're providing an incredible value to everybody out there. I love that you're really focusing in on the Airbnb. I think that that's going to really, grow specific people to come into your life, which is great. And people are going to learn a ton from you. So I'm excited to be on here. I'm honored to be on here. I'm humbled to be on here. So yeah, let's rock and roll.
Yeah, let's do it, man. And the fun thing is I get an email from you guys saying, hey, can we be on the show? And I'm like, I've mainly been focusing on Airbnb recently, but yeah, I can make some room for Brent Daniels. And for those of you that don't know Brent, just go Google his name and you're going to find a 50,000 subscribed YouTube channel, tons of value. Like, just go check it out. All you have to do is literally just Google Brent Daniels. You're going to find everything about wholesaling possible. He's one of the best in the business. So with that being said, Brent, because you're one of the best in the business, I'm guessing you got some pretty good stories for us. So let's start off with one of your best stories. What comes to mind? Real estate investing deal. I'd love to hear that.
Kyle, it's really interesting. We've done about 1,600 deals. It surprised me every time. Every time that somebody gives us a number that is just an incredible number. It's a really good discount. It's the perfect price. It always shocks me. It always a little bit. Now you kind of get used to it a little bit, but you're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible, because I came from the world of being a real estate agent where literally the whole job was to get as much for every single property as possible. So it took me a long time to kind of break that habit. Mm-hmm. But one specific recent deal, we made $92,000 on this, Kyle. And the reason we made $92,000 on it, and it was just a traditional wholesale. We literally assigned it. We didn't own it. We assigned our right to purchase it. But the only reason we got this deal was because my junior acquisition manager was born in this tiny town in Arkansas that had like 214 people in it. Well, the owner of this property, and she owns this property in Phoenix. She lives in Wisconsin. She grew up in this tiny town in Arkansas, which just goes to show you that, honestly, pre-qualifying the property owners, understanding, beyond just a surface level what's going on, finding out where they're from, finding out more about them. That's why we got that deal. But he was from the same town as this seller, and she was just absolutely thrilled to sell us the property. She had, dozens of other people reaching out to her, but she decided to work with us. So I just think that that's one of those stories that, you got to talk to a lot of people. You have to be in front of a lot of people. You have to be very proactive in this business. And if you do, you get amazing deals, and you run across people that maybe, grew up in a town that was tiny, that you grow up in as well. So I think that that's just a wonderful story to kind of open this thing up with.
Yeah, and no surprise there. It's just who you've talked to, who you knew, and that's really one of the things that I'm excited to talk to you about today.
Yeah.
So before we get into it, I know you just kind of mentioned it there, but you were a realtor before wholesaling. Bring us back to, as far back as you want to go. What led you into real estate, and why wholesaling specifically?
Yeah, 2002, I was given the book Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Nice.
and me and 40 million other people that have bought and read that book. It changes the synapses in your brain. It just changes your brain chemistry. It makes you think. I think that we all internally have a fire in our belly to be an entrepreneur or be a business person or have freedom of schedule or whatever it is, but we don't really necessarily have direction, especially when we're younger. And so that book really gave me direction and pointed me in the direction of real estate. And then it was just figuring out, how do you be a real estate investor? What does it mean? How do you understand the terminology? How do you get, past that kind of, just getting started, just kind of understanding what it is, understanding what is a deal and what is not a deal. And that led me to real estate school. I thought, this is early 2000s. So there was no YouTube, there was no social media, there was nothing really coaching and showing the way. So, you just fall into books, and you fall into little Carlton Sheets programs, and you fall into Robert Allen programs, and you get your real estate license. And that's what I did. I got my real estate license in 04, and got into the world of being a real estate agent to learn what real estate was all about.
Awesome. And when did you make that transition from real estate agent to wholesaler?
It was really interesting. The quick answer to that is 2013 is when I really discovered wholesaling. And at that time, the 2008 crash destroyed me. Had to crawl back as a real estate agent, doing whatever I could to get out of the hole that I was left in. And so I was outdoor knocking, Kyle. I was outdoor knocking every house in an area, every house in Arcadia where you just bought an Airbnb. It's a real popular area, and it's a real established older area, but you could see the smaller houses were turning over, and people were putting additions onto them. People were bulldozing them, putting brand new houses on. So I went door knocking in this area looking for opportunities, and I found 3 deals. I brought it to an investor client that I had, that I know, that was doing flips and doing development, and asked him, if I brought him these deals, if he'd give me 3% commission. He agreed to that. And then I saw at the bottom of all of these settlement statements, that's what you get when you close on a deal. You get to see what the buyer and the seller's debit and credits on these deals are. And I saw that there was a line item that said assignment fee. And between the 3 deals, it was equal to $92,000. So I finally asked, what is this thing called an assignment fee? And he said, well, I assigned the deal to somebody else. And I said, what does that mean? And he goes, I sold it. I said, how do you sell something you don't own? And he said, no, I sold the contract. And I was like, what is that magic? This is like a whole different, did I just walk into Narnia or something, right? Like, what is going on here? I felt like I was in a mystical world of like possibilities. And then I learned that you can put properties under contract and sell your rights to them. And so I started doing that in 2013. Things have just been just taken off like crazy. It's been a rocket ship since then.
That's awesome. So, I mean, the point of today is not to teach people what wholesaling is, because at this point, everyone kind of knows what this is. But I guess for me, I'd like to, first of all, really dive into the common theme that you and I were even talking about before we started the podcast, but I'm already hearing it in your stories. You got a $90,000 wholesale fee from someone that you knew, someone that was on your team. And then now you're learning about wholesaling back in, you said 2013. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah, learning about it from someone else. And what I'm just hearing is it's all about who you know, and no wonder why you have your program called TTP, Talk to People. Where did that come from? Is that just something that you've always lived by, or was that something that just kind of hit you in the face of like, hey,
Yeah.
this is why I have success?
Yeah. As a side note, that's kind of weird that my first 3 deals that I locked up for the investor were 92,000. And then I made 92,000 on that wholesale deal.
Yeah, that's funny.
Recently,
Yeah.
I'd never made that. That's bananas, but maybe that's karma coming back. Talk to people. Here's the thing. And I truly believe this, Kyle. I don't care if you are building a portfolio of properties that you're renting or doing Airbnbs from.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're fixing and flipping. I don't care if you're developing. I don't care if you're lending on real estate deals as a partner or as a private money lender, or you're doing coaching and mentoring. It all starts with your ability to find discounted properties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what most investors do is most investors let people like me go out there and talk to all the property owners, get a discounted property from a wholesaler, take that property, and then do whatever exit strategy they want, whether it's a flip, whether it's a hold, whatever they want to do. Right. But it comes down to sourcing the opportunities. Well, if you want to source real estate deals, you have to talk to distressed property owners. That is the secret sauce, the secret to the whole real estate entrepreneurship, on like being a real estate investor, is sourcing quality discounted properties, having quality conversations with distressed property owners as often as possible. And you really only have 3 options there. 1, you can pay for them to call you. It's called marketing. Right. Mm-hmm. Pretty normal. 2, you can get referrals, right? You can build up a network of people that you know, and real estate agents and other investors that refer you these distressed property owners. Or you got to go out there and earn it by being proactive and either knocking on the doors or picking up the phone and calling them. But it all comes down to, I don't care what part it is, Kyle, you know as well as I do, you have to talk to people. You need to be talking to new people every single day. That is the engine of your business.
Are you telling me there's no secret formula to the Google ads or to text messaging where I actually have to open my mouth and I actually have to do the work?
Yeah. I mean, listen, that could be, listen, there's plenty of deals that can come from online. There's plenty of deals that can come from text messaging, but at some point you're going to have to communicate with another human.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. And I mean, here's the thing is that we work in our strengths, right? And for me, and I think probably for you as well, the strength of talking to people and creating relationships is something that we might have, maybe even more so than other people. But at some point, we had to develop that skill. And I think where I'm going with this, Brent, is that there's a lot of people that probably right now are like, well, that's scary to me, knocking on a door and talking to people, or picking up the phone, or even like one of the biggest things I hear about is people send out those direct mailers and then they get the calls and they're too scared to answer the phone. It's like, oh my gosh, just give me the money, flush it down the toilet. So has that always been something that has just come to you naturally, or is that a skill that you had to develop?
No, it's definitely, I mean, listen, I'm an expressive personality. If you look at the personality types, I'm going to be one of the expressive personalities, but it wasn't like in a sense that I knew sales or I was selling my whole life or I was like this long time entrepreneur. It was nothing like this. This is something that had to develop. This is something that I knew that you have to develop as a business owner. The ability to communicate is so critical to not only like bringing in a lot of money, but keeping a lot of money. All right. So if you have to develop that skill, the fastest way to do that is to get reps at the plate. It's all about consistency. It's all about sustainable action every single day. It's all about trying to get as many conversations under your belt as possible. And you fumble and you stumble and you bumble and you say the wrong things, and then you learn, and then you figure it out and you clean it up. And then all of a sudden, if you talk to, this is interesting, Kyle. So I have what's called 1,000 contact challenge. Then I say, before anybody hires anybody in their real estate business, they need to cold call and speak with 1,000 people, 1,000 strangers, and ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. And I'm telling you this, I guarantee, after you have talked to 1,000 property owners and asked them if they would consider an offer, you can talk to anybody. You can talk to anybody about real estate, and it bleeds into all the other parts of your life. So, I mean, it's a skill that is built over time and over getting a lot of reps. And we're not perfect at it at first, but then you understand people's tone of voice. You understand their pacing. You understand the words that they use. You understand, what they're trying to do, if they're trying to throw up a force field because you're a stranger, or if they're open to having a longer conversation. And you can't get that by pretending. And I think, Kyle, we just hallucinate too much. We hallucinate the worst things.
Yeah.
Oh, what if I knock on the door and they punch me in the face? Or what if I call them and they scream at me and they get so mad? We think about all these hallucinations, and then we actually get into the rhythm, and we understand that most people are very, very, very reasonable. And if we're kind and we've got a good tone of voice, people will have that with us. So if anything from this podcast, I just want to encourage people to have that courage. Encouraged to have courage to go out there and face that fear of talking to a stranger and asking them. Because the fact is, 6 to 10% statistically of our real estate market is in distress at all times, in every market. So these are the people that won't help themselves. These are people that are stuck. These are people that are having problems. It's our responsibility to go out in our communities that we're working in and see if we can help them out. And if you have that switch, I think that you're going to be more successful.
Yeah. And I love that about your mindset. And that kind of leads me into my next question here, because you hear 1,000 people, and that's a lot of people, right? Especially for someone that maybe has no sales experience, has no training in any sort of sales job, or even just when we talk about discipline and daily habits. One of the things that I've broken down with my students for Airbnb, and because I hear it all the time, Brent, I'm sure you get it all the time too. I've talked to a lot of people and I don't have a deal yet. And then you talk to them, and your 1,000 person challenge is met with an answer of, oh, I've talked to 10 people. It's just not enough people. So I've gotten to the point with my Airbnb students, I say, if you haven't talked to at least 25 homeowners, then you're probably not even getting close to a yes for an arbitrage or a co-hosting deal. Now with you're saying 1,000 people. How do you break that down bite size?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Typically, when you are speaking with people, you're going to want to get big lists, right? You're going to want to get big lists of distressed properties, and you can pull those from a lot of different resources. You can drive around your town and find the ugliest houses, the properties that need the most love out there, and you can reach out to those property owners. There's a thing called skip tracing. That's where you put in an address and you get a phone number back for that address, and you can pick up the phone and call that property owner and see if they would consider an offer. So it's really not that difficult to get to that. Now, bite size, the most important word is sustainable. You got to take sustainable action every single day. A lot of people come into the real estate investing world having a lot of other responsibilities, whether it be a whole 9-to-5 job, or a career, or kids, or a spouse, or older parents, or whatever. There's just a lot of other responsibilities. You have to make it sacred time in your schedule where you're going to start and be proactive and reach out to people that have these distressed properties. And you do that consistently over 90 days, bite size, like you said, Kyle, little bite size. I don't care if it's 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to start building up not only your endurance for being on the phone, but you're going to build up your skills for communicating with people about real estate.
I love it. 90 days sustainable. That to me, like, I can work with that. When I hear 1,000 people, my mind, oh man, I'm all or nothing. I hear 90 days sustainable. I can do that. So that's awesome. What do you think though, on the other side of it, is the number one reason, or maybe top few reasons, why people are not successful in wholesaling. Because I mean, wholesaling to me is like one of those things that I hear left and right about people being like, yeah, I'm a wholesaler, but I've never done a deal. And then a month later, suddenly, they're a real estate agent, or they're doing something completely different because they just weren't able to cut it in wholesaling.
Yeah. The issue is, Kyle, it takes 90 days.
Yeah.
Takes 90 days of consistent action. Listen, people get pumped, but listen, you cannot, this is the difference between being totally pumped about something, being inspired, like really, really going after it, and having passion, right? Passion is a flash in the pan. If your true purpose, if you're like, I am going to build wealth, and that vehicle is going to be real estate. And I'm going to start at the very bottom because I don't have a lot of money. I don't have any experience, but I've got this purpose that I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to go from school sitting in rows to college sitting in rows to a job sitting in a row or a cubicle and just live this like punch card type of life. I want to have something that's outstanding. That's that fire. That's that purpose, right? So real estate is going to be the vehicle to do that. So if you have that behind you, if it's a must, I must do this instead of I want to do it, you're going to stick through those 90 days and you're going to be successful. The problem is, here's the problem, Kyle, and these are real numbers. You need to talk to 200 distressed property owners. These are people in probate, inherited, driving for dollars, tired landlords, tired multifamily, vacant land, all of these lists. You need to get 199 people to tell you no, to tell you don't call me, to tell you I didn't have a sign in the yard, to tell me get a job, to tell you all these things. For one person, 1 out of 200 people that you talk to is going to work with you. They're going to do business with you. So are you willing to take 199 rejections out of 200 to keep your purpose, that fire in your belly, alive? That's the issue, Kyle. The issue is not, I don't know what to do. The issue is getting through that 199 times of rejection that we all want to avoid. We all don't want people mad at us. We don't want people being negative or being mean. We're like, oh my gosh, 199 will be like that. One will work with you. And that could be worth 10,000, 20,000, 50, $100,000 of opportunity. But you have to get through it. And that's why you got to talk to a lot of people.
Well, and I think I've gotten down to this point, Brent, where if I hear this one phrase from people, I can tell them right away, you're not going to be successful. And it's, we'll see how it goes.
Oh, no.
I hear it all the time at these meetup groups. I hear it all the time whenever I get on the call with people that are asking me about Airbnb. I'm interested in getting into Airbnb. I'm interested in getting into flipping. I'm interested in getting into wholesaling. I'm going to see how it goes. I'll just tell you right now, you're not going to be successful because it's not a must, it's a want. And this is a business that you have to need it, not want it. And I just think that is exactly what you said. Like, if you're going to even be, heck, 90 days, let's bring it down to even a week. If you're going to be doing sustainable effort for even a week, you have to need it, not just want it. And
the fact is, Kyle, we control today. That's it. So it's just putting it together. It's putting it in, making it a priority, making it sacred time in your schedule for today. From 2:15 to 2:45, I'm going to call this list of people that I drove around and saw that their houses are in rough shape, and I'm going to see if I can help them out. Right. That's a much different thing than, oh, I'm going to go, I got to find a deal so I can make money and crush it. Your income is equal to the amount of value you provide to the marketplace, to your community. Right. That's it. That's how income works. Now, the beautiful thing, Kyle, which you're doing and teaching, is once you have that income, investing it into an asset, now your money works for you. That's the difference between being rich and wealthy, right? That's the difference between having a bunch of cash and a bunch of income and having these assets that are giving you that passive income, or that income that is your money's working for you. And that's a beautiful tipping point. That's what we all want. That's what we're all working for. But it takes a whole lot of effort. There's a reason that the top 1% are the 1%. There's a top reason why 400,000 is what? The top 5%. You make 400,000, you're in the top 5% of the entire planet,
Yeah.
galaxy, solar system, whatever you want to say. I mean, there's a reason. There's a barrier to entry. It takes a very special person to go out there and to have that fire in their belly and those the lights in their eyes and go out every single day with energizing enthusiasm and talk to new people and see if you could solve their problem. That's a special person.
Well, and I love that there, because one of my favorite words is value. And I think that, one of the most intimidating things for people when they first get into real estate is, I have no value to provide. I don't have a track record. I don't, like, if I'm going to ask Brent Daniels for 30 minutes of his time, I have no value to give. But I think when we really look down deep and look at our strengths, those can be things that can be valuable as well. For example, I started a podcast and YouTube channel because I enjoy talking behind a mic or talking in front of a mic. And I felt that I could bring value to people like you, Brent, and like other people that have been on this show, to bring their message to other people. But even if you just have a gift for gab, if you have the grind mentality, if you have any of that, I feel like there is value to be brought. So what are just maybe a few things, if someone's getting started out, that they may not see about themselves, but you would say, hey, that's value to either working for someone like you or to bringing to other homeowners?
Listen, if you're proactive, you're a magnet. There's a reason why Magneto is behind me. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're just listening to this, you won't see it, but I've got an incredible Magneto painting behind me. And that's because you become a magnet. You become a magnet for all the people around you, and you become a magnet for successful real estate entrepreneurs. If you're going out there and you are generating leads, generating opportunities. Now, in the beginning, usually you share those opportunities with a mentor or somebody that can help you get these deals across the finish line. And that's a value. Going to talk to, some investors around town, if you're wholesaling, and selling that deal to them, there's value there. You know what I mean? So I think being proactive is the magnet, and being loud about it, being willing to share it. Give yourself permission to film yourself walking through a hoarder house, or walking through driving while you're driving for dollars, or whether you're checking out a different investment opportunity you want. Film yourself doing it. If people give you crap for it, I'm putting that gently. If people give you crap for it, then get rid of those people. You don't need those people. Just, film yourself doing something. Be loud. I mean, you're a perfect example of it, Kyle. 2 years ago, you made a decision that you're going to do thousands of podcasts, and here we are. You know what I mean? You're building your YouTube, you're getting opportunities, you're providing a ton of value to people because you're loud. So I think we need to give ourselves permission to be loud, for sure. And I think the second thing that's stopping people, Kyle, is people compare themselves to where they think they should be.
Mm-hmm.
That is like one of the most toxic things of all time. I should be that millionaire. I should be driving the Lambo. I should be buying 1,000 property units. I should be on this vacation. I should have the hottest guy or gal on my arm. I should have this, and this, and this, and this. And it's all these thoughts of who you should be. And it's toxic because it's stopping you from taking the action that you need to today, because you're putting energy into worrying about how you're not this person yet. I'm telling you, if you just go to work, if you just communicate and provide value to the people in your community that aren't getting help, you will win. It's impossible not to. Yeah. I guarantee you, if you talk to enough distressed property owners, you will be successful as a real estate entrepreneur. Guaranteed 1,000%.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So the glaring question here is, where in the world does all your energy come from?
Dude, I love this. Listen, Kyle, here's the thing. This business is absolutely incredible. If you stay consistent with it, it frees you up for everything. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm living my best life. I have all of my best friends working for me, working with me, I should say, not for me. I mean, they're off doing their thing. I'm just here to make sure I'm responsible to make sure that they have enough leads to be successful. And that's both on the coaching side and the wholesale side. It's been absolutely phenomenal. And then from there, I mean, today, Kyle, we're locking up a deal that'll make us over $50,000, right? Like, literally, that was mind blowing to me. I remember the first time I got an over $40,000 check, and I'm living in my tiny little house, and it's the very beginning of a relationship with my now wife. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was shaking. Everything in my body was like literally just changing. Like the brain chemistry in my
Yeah.
brain changed the first time I did a deal over $40,000. And then you understand, wait a second, I could do $50,000. I can do $100,000. I can do $1,000,000. I can do all of these things, but you have to prove it to yourself first. And once you prove it to yourself over and over and over again and build a company and share that with the people that you love, I mean, if you don't have energy after that, I don't know. I can't help you, man. I can't, it's just a good life. It's a great life.
I love it.
Yep.
I think I know the answer to this next question, but you mentioned you've done over 1,500 deals.
Yep.
Some of these are making you between 40 to even $92,000. Why not just put 100% of the effort into building the wholesaling business? Why start the coaching side of it as well?
Yeah, I love it. So I looked at the numbers, Kyle. I really did. And I said, okay, if I wanted to, my business will do about 1.5 million gross. All right. And I looked at it and I said, okay, what am I going to net from that? And then I looked at, okay, if I wanted to get that to double or triple or quadruple, what is my net going to look like? And as I kept looking at it, I knew that I would have to market more. I'd have to go into other markets. I'd have to spread my company out. I'd have to hire more people. I'd have to go through the learning curve of different strategies and different markets. And that would set me back for a while, at least 6 months, if not a years of learning and building up and understanding the processes. And well, we just talked about you doing a deal here in Phoenix and and going through the construction process there. It takes time. So I looked at all of that, and I looked at the numbers, and I was netting maybe a couple $100,000 more. And I was like, that's silly.
Right.
Now I work 5 hours in my wholesaling business, in my real estate flipping and wholesaling business, and I make a silly amount. I mean, a really great amount, and it makes me really happy. And I'm a loud guy. I love sharing the message. I love I love giving people the courage to go out and pick up the phone and change their lives. So it's kind of a perfect blend. One, the business was set up over, years and years, 15 years of building it to get out of it and to be able to have the right pieces in place to run it and thrive. And two, I could be loud and share the message. So I think a part of me, a part of my brain is a teacher and a coach. Yeah. And I just wanted to coach, and that makes me really happy.
I think you're probably similar to me, that if you're doing something and you don't want to share it with other people, then you're probably not doing the right thing.
Yeah, you either get energy from stuff or it drains you.
Yep.
And I have just built myself up over the years, and a lot of getting beat up, and a lot of really stupid tax that I've had to pay over the years. But now I'm in a position where most of it, I wouldn't say all the time, I would say probably 85% of the things that I do on a daily basis give me energy. The other 15% drain me a little bit, but that's mostly just dealing with small children.
I love it. Brent, lots of value here today. Love talking about mindset. I love to know what is energizing you about things that you have coming up. I know you're in the mecca of real estate. It seems like everyone and their mom who's big on YouTube and podcasts is in Phoenix over there. I know you're doing stuff with Pace and Jameel. What are you doing right now, or what do you have coming up that has you excited?
Listen, every Wednesday I go live and answer questions on my YouTube channel. That has just been it's a blast. Cool. I mean, it's not just me sitting in front of the camera. It is a lot. It's answering questions. It's bringing in incredible guests. It's streaming in incredible guests. It's breaking down deals. It's comping deals. It's phenomenal. That really fuels me up. From a content standpoint, I also have a show called Millionaire Before 30, where we are showing, I work with a guy, Ryan Zolan, on that. He's 23 years old. He's 50,000 away from having a net worth of $1 million. That's just been an exciting show. And I'd love to teach some financial literacy and just some good tactics and strategies and tools to the younger generation that is just light years beyond what I was coming up. So I absolutely love that. And listen, on a daily basis, I work with the students that are in my coaching program every single day. They all have my phone number. They all text me. They're all calling. They're texting. There's probably a few that I have to get through after this podcast. And I love that. I love helping people out and solving those problems that they have. And I just love the action. I love that people are taking action. People like, that a month ago, 2 months ago, 90 days ago, were like, I could never make calls, are doing it now. And they're crushing it and they're closing their first deals. And now all of a sudden life's opening up. So it's a rewarding job being a real estate coach, for sure.
That's so cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Any last words for our audience before we log off here?
I think, listen, here's the thing. If you just focus on taking the action that day, if you just focus on surrounding yourself with people that are obsessed with this business and really squatting up and not thinking of people as competition, but as a collaboration. And I think just keep it simple. Find an ugly house, talk to the property owner, and make something happen. That's it. I mean, there's only 3 parts, real quick. There's only 3 parts to a real estate entrepreneur's life. The first part is lead generation. The second part is converting that lead into a deal. And the second part is converting that into a deal. And the third part is exit strategy. And that's it. And exit strategy is either wholesale it, buy it, and hold it, or flip it. So just keep it simple. Keep it really simple. Figure out what makes you really happy. Understand that it's lead generation, conversion, and exit strategy. And you're going to be off and running. You're going to make a huge impact, not only for yourself, but your family and everybody. You're going to be like Magneto. You're going to be a magnet for everybody that wants to see what a really, really happy, energy-filled life is all about.
I love it.
Yep.
Brent Daniels, you're awesome. And I appreciate you coming on and helping our
Thanks,
audience
Kyle.
to conquer the world of investing, brother.
That's it. Thanks, Kyle.
Show notes for this one, fearlesskyle.com/Brent Daniels. Exactly how it sounds is how you spell it. And, guys, this is really just at the end of the day, what is so simple about anything real estate investing, Airbnb, sales related is it's just about who you talk to. And I know that is not a special formula that's going to make it feel so much easier, but really, that is what it comes down to. So if you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, well, I've tried talking to people and I can't get a wholesale deal. Brent just shared with you, it's 1,000-person challenge. And likely if the numbers work out the way that he was saying, you'll get 5 deals out of that if you're good at it. And that's the thing is, if you're good at it. And just like I share in Airbnb, if you talk to 10 or 15 homeowners, you're probably going to get a deal, an arbitrage or a co-hosting deal. But again, that's if you're good at it. It's going to take you some time. Brent, myself, all these people that we have on the show, they weren't naturals when they started. It just took that need, that desire, strong desire over just a want, right? And so at the end of the day, that's really what it has to be. It has to be something that you have to have. And that's what's going to push you to talk to person number 200 for that one yes, or person number 1,000 for that 4th or 5th yes. That's what's going to take to be able to be successful. So hopefully you'll go check out Brent, check out all of his content. It's all free. It's on YouTube. And all you have to do is search for his name and you'll find him. He's awesome. He's got tons of energy and he's providing so much value every day. Speaking of value, I hope you got value today from this episode with Brent. I hope you'll go out there and conquer the world of investing. We'll see you next time.